Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel where we break down everything black and gold. Today, we've got a hot topic to dive into. Could the Steelers land a superstar wide receiver to fix our WR problem? And with Week 18 just around the corner, there's a lot at stake for our playoff future. But first, let me just say this. Our Steelers are always striving to improve. Even when we hit a rough patch, you know this team is working tirelessly to deliver results. That's why we, as fans, stay strong and keep believing. If you're just as passionate about the Steelers as we are, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an update. Let's dive in. All right? Let's get to the big story. After starting Week 15 with a solid 10-3 record and holding a 2-game lead in the AFC North, the Steelers have hit a tough stretch, losing 3 straight games. This slump has dropped us to 10-6, and now Baltimore has overtaken us in the division at 11-5. What's behind this unraveling? One major factor is the injury to George Pickens, our WR1. Pickens missed weeks 14 through 16 with a hamstring issue, and our offense just couldn't find its groove without him. Even when he returned in Week 17 against the Chiefs, the struggles continued in a 29-10 loss. Enter the speculation. Could Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets be the answer to our wide receiver depth problem? Garrett Wilson is one of the league's brightest young talents. The 2022 first-round pick has already racked up 90 receptions for 987 yards and 6 touchdowns this season, and that's while playing in a struggling Jets offense. Imagine what he could do with the Steelers. Analyst Tyler Raymond believes Wilson might be looking for a way out of New York after reportedly drawing trade interest earlier this year. He thinks Pittsburgh should go all in on Wilson, calling him a player who could completely change the narrative for our offense. Here's the deal. Pairing Wilson with Pickens would give us one of the most dynamic receiving duos in the NFL. Plus, with Pickens entering a contract year in 2025, adding Wilson could secure our WR room for the long haul or soften the blow if we can't re-sign Pickens. But here's the catch. Wilson's still on his rookie deal, which means we'd need to give up significant draft capital to bring him to Pittsburgh. Is it worth the price? That's a question for you, Steelers Nation. Now, let's shift gears to the playoff picture. Despite our 3-game skid, the Steelers have already secured a playoff spot. But where we land in the seeding is still up in the air. Here's the good news. Denver's loss to the Bengals in overtime means we can't fall to the number 7 seed. That's huge because it spares us a potential rematch against the Bills, who are likely to lock in the number 2 seed. Right now, we're sitting as the number 5 seed, which would send us to Houston for Wild Card Weekend. But a win against the Bengals in Week 18 could change everything. If we win and Baltimore loses, we'd reclaim the AFC North title and host the Chargers in the first round. Lose, and we could fall to the number 6 seed, likely traveling to Baltimore. Here's the flip side. The Bengals are still alive in the playoff race, and they're playing some of their best football right now. That makes our Week 18 matchup not just a must-win for us, but a statement game. Think about it. How sweet would it be to not only secure a better playoff spot, but also knock Cincinnati out of contention? That's the kind of rivalry drama we live for, Steelers Nation. But let's circle back to the bigger picture. What do you think about the possibility of bringing Garrett Wilson to Pittsburgh? Is he the missing piece we need to take our offense to the next level, or should we focus on developing our current talent and saving our draft picks? Here's another angle. How would you feel about potentially losing Pickens down the line if we don't secure him with a long-term deal? Would Wilson help soften that blow? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to hear what you think. As we gear up for Week 18, one thing is clear. This team has heart. Even through the ups and downs, the Steelers have shown resilience, and there's no doubt they'll leave it all on the field against the Bengals. The question is, can we fix the cracks in time to make a deep playoff run? What's your take, Steelers Nation? Are we built for a strong postseason push, or do we need to address some key issues first? And how do you feel about facing the Bengals with so much on the line? Let's get the conversation going in the comments. Over the past couple of seasons, we've seen glimpses of this frustration. Whether it's visible disappointment when he doesn't get the ball or moments where he seems disengaged during plays, it's clear Pickens wears his emotions on his sleeve. Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe even called him out recently, saying Pickens needs to channel his energy and focus on his potential to become one of the NFL's elite receivers. And Sharpe isn't wrong. Pickens has incredible hands, unmatched body control, and the ability to make circus catches look routine. But for all his talent, there's a growing concern that his emotions might be getting the best of him. It's the kind of thing we've seen before with other receivers. Antonio Brown, Santonio Holmes, guys who burned bright but eventually burned bridges. Now let's not forget what Pickens brings to the table. He's a game changer. In just a couple of seasons, he's established himself as one of the league's most exciting young talents. But is his frustration justified? And more importantly, can the Steelers do enough to keep him happy? This brings us to a critical question. What's next for Pickens and the Steelers? With Pickens eligible for a contract extension after the 2024 season, the Steelers will need to make some tough decisions. Do they double down on building around him? Or do they consider moving on if the relationship sours? One theory floating around is that Pickens could thrive in an offense with a more aggressive passing attack. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh has always been a team-first organization. That culture is part of what makes us love the Steelers. So is it on the team to adapt its offense to showcase Pickens? Or is it on Pickens to buy into the system and trust the process? Let's not ignore the history here either. The Steelers have had their share of high-profile WRs with big personalities. Some worked out, others didn't. Former Bills GM Doug Whaley even compared Pickens to Antonio Brown, saying it's only a matter of time before things implode. Is that fair, or is it just another example of media stirring the pot? At the same time, we've seen what happens when the Steelers give up on a star too soon. Just look at how AB dominated the league before things went south. Can Pittsburgh afford to take that risk with Pickens, especially with our current offense struggling to find its identity? Here's another layer to this story, the quarterback situation. Kenny Pickett is still finding his footing as the leader of this offense, and the chemistry between him and Pickens has shown flashes of brilliance. But is it enough? Would a more established quarterback unlock Pickens' full potential? Or does the responsibility lie with the coaching staff to better utilize his skills? All right, Steelers fans, that's it for today's deep dive. We covered everything from our WR problem and Garrett Wilson rumors to the playoff implications of Week 18. Now it's your turn. What's your game plan? Should we go all out for Wilson, focus on the draft, or make do with what we've got? And how are you feeling about our playoff chances? Don't hold back. Your opinions are what make this community so incredible. So drop those comments, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more Steelers content. Together, we'll ride through every high and low because that's what being a Steelers fan is all about. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Steelers!